Avalanche and the Dallas Stars on Hockey Fights Cancer Night here in Denver, Colorado. As we get set for the first of 5 games between these two clubs, let's look at tonight's Ford's starting lineup. Peter, tell us about the goaltenders.
Well, the Dallas Stars, Carey Lettman, the outstanding goaltender for the Dallas Stars, out with an injury. Dan Ellis, you see his numbers this year, but he's 5-1 against the Avalanche. He's won his last 4 starts against Colorado. But at the other end, the talk of hockey is the goaltending for the Colorado Avalanche. J.S. Giguère, who will start Saturday in Buffalo. But Semyon Varlamov, Mike, we watched him on the road trip, and the 2 games that he played, he was absolutely magnificent, especially when the games were close. And, you know, I think the Avalanche, to a man, do they believe in their goaltending right now?
HD coverage tonight presented by Nova Home Loans, bringing it home to you in high definition. Here we go, Avalanche Dallas Stars. For the first time this season, Dallas, after 14 years in the Pacific Division, moved back to the Central Division. That's the division the Avs are in. A little flip pass by Parenteau, knocked down with a hand, and that is ruled a hand pass on the Avalanche. We give you the rest of the Ford lineup for tonight's game for the Avalanche. No changes from the last game against the Washington Capitals. So same players scratch tonight. Defenseman Nick Holden still looking to play in his first game. And with the return to Ryan Wilson against Washington, Tyson Barrie remains a healthy scratch, as well as centerman Marc-Andre Cliche. Dallas Stars are 2-2 this season for 4 points to the 1-1 on the road. The Avalanche a perfect 2-0 on home ice in the first 2 games of the season with wins here at home. Got the season started off well, and now they're rolling.
And then you rock the new head coach of the Dallas Stars. Of course, years and years of great work with the Buffalo Sabres. 2-2 so far this season for the Dallas Stars. They lost their home opener, won a couple in a row, lost the last one 5-1 to the Minnesota Wild.
Peter, he was one of just several changes. New coach, you said, Lindy Ruff, new general manager, and you can see the shot tipped on goal and the save by Ellis. The Dallas Stars now have a new uniform, new logo. Do you like it?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's much similar to the Avalanche and how they just, from top to bottom, changed so many things.
Well, we got a whistle, and we're going to have our first penalty call of the game. It comes early, just 55 seconds in. And the Avalanche get the first power play opportunity with Brendan Dillon going to the penalty box.
You know, the Avalanche, if there is one thing, when you talk to people around the league, they're saying about the Avalanche, this team could fly. And so you know the other team has to be aware of that. Dillon right there pulls down Paul Stastny, the Avalanche. Great chance to get themselves rolling here at home. Short, 2-game home trip, homestand, pardon me. You've got Dallas tonight, and then Detroit comes in for their only time this year before the Avalanche head back on the road.
Dumped in by the Avalanche, and Ellis will handle the puck back behind the net, and it's flipped down the ice. Hey, if the Avs score on this power play, a lucky winner will get tickets to an upcoming game. For a chance to win, you can register at afwonline.com/altitude. Dumped in from center ice by Andre Benoit, the Avalanche defenseman, playing his first season for Colorado. After being signed as a free agent, last year played with Ottawa. The Dallas Stars, how's their penalty killing been? Well, they're ranked 21st in the league. They've allowed 4 power play goals so far this season in 4 games.
The Avalanche power play has been okay, but they've scored, Mike, 4 power play goals, but 2 of them have been game winners.
It's all about the timing, isn't it? Yep. Pass to the near side circle for P.A. Parenteau. Is able to slide that free for McKinnon. He's got a power play goal this season. Sent across, back high in the slot. Sent to the near side for Parenteau. Cuts in, looking for a tip. McKinnon got it on net, but that was steered away by Dan Ellis, the starting goaltender for the Dallas Stars. McKinnon working along the boards. A little support from Parenteau to Johnson. Slides it across. As moving the puck. Shot by Johnson. That one glanced off of Ellis and goes wide. Back to the far side wall. Played by Stanton to Johnson. Slapped it across to Parenteau. After the power play. Nice pass in front for McKinnon, but it bounced away from him and then cleared away by Dallas. But boy, the Avs moving the puck, Peter.
McKinnon, Mike, I think he thought Stastny was going to shoot.
Dallas with the puck, wraparound try. Coming around from behind the net was Rich Peverly. Avalanche avoid that situation. Dump the puck deep into the Dallas end. flicked along it to the near side by Jordy Ben. Back towards the near point, and Hayden. His shot got blocked. Puck that comes up the glass, actually hit the netting above the glass, and so the play has been stopped. And we've got a scoreless first period. Power play is done. The Avs had 2 shots during that power play.
And Mike, you see how the Avalanche passing down low draws all the Dallas players down low into the slot area. Here's a play, but McKinnon just turned a little bit too quickly. But a nice read by Stastny. Stastny, of course, set up McKinnon. He and Landeskog set up McKinnon's first NHL goal. Eric Johnson, the big bomb from the point. You see his ice time. Consistent 20-22-minute man for Patrick Waugh.
Sergei Gonchar, number 55 for the Dallas Stars. Sends it up ice, and it's shot down, and coming after it, Cody Eakin, number 20 for Dallas. Looks the puck along the far side, into the corner, chased by Benoit. Puts the puck to the side of the net. There's number 12. Watch him tonight, Alex Chiasson. He is a highly skilled player. Chiasson so far this season, 3 goals, 5 points in 4 games for Dallas. He's really one of the up-and-coming future stars for this Dallas team. O'Reilly carrying the puck in, but the Avalanche are offside.
Michael talking to Cody McLeod yesterday. One player we thought might not be in the lineup tonight because of that play. Blocked an Ovechkin shot. Like he said, there was no padding at all on the side of the knee. It hit right off the bone. And the guys on the ice were saying, stay down, stay down. He said, don't worry, I can't get up. But fortunately, he was able to walk it off and back in the lineup tonight.
Backhanded across, brought in over the line with a puck to Seguin, but the Dallas Stars are offside on their play.
Well, Taylor Seguin, Mike, he won a Stanley Cup behind Taylor Hall, who's the 2nd pick his draft year, and he won a cup the first year with the Boston Bruins. It really looked like the sky was the limit. Things didn't work out in Boston the way they wanted. They made a big trade, probably the biggest trade, but maybe Bobby Ryan and Seguin, 2 of the biggest trades that were made during the offseason. But Seguin is really, they want him to be the cornerstone center iceman.
3 shots on net for the Avalanche, none for the Dallas Stars. The Avs have had a power play chance. Weren't able to score on it. We remain scoreless here in this first period. Seguin has the puck. Nice lead pass. Peverley breaks in alone. He shoots and scores. And this is something the Avs haven't had to deal with, Peter. Giving up a first period goal and giving up a goal fairly early in a game and falling behind early in a contest.
When you're playing the Avalanche, you can feel it around the locker room and the other team. They're talking about skating, moving, keeping your legs going. This is a fast Avalanche club. Things just opened up. Peverley, see, to me, Mike, nice pass, but great play by Peverley to break on the play. He felt a little gap between the 2 defensemen, and he took off. It was a nice pass, but if he's not skating and has himself ready, he's not going to get that pass. That was a well-constructed, quick breakout by Dallas.
Peter, there has to be a finish to it, and I think you and I, when we watched it with Varlamov, I don't know if there's a better goaltender in breakaway situations in the league than Varlamov, so that was a great shot by Peverley to beat him.
Yeah, and you saw what he used there. He used speed. He didn't try to slow down. He didn't try to get tricked. He walked in, and with just that right spot, about 15 feet in front of the net, he just unloaded.
Here's your Pepsi scoring summary. The goal by Rich Peverley, first of the season, coming at .416. Your assists, well, that was a great pass from Tyler Seguin. His 5th assist of the season, and Ben with the other assist. That's his 4th of the season. And the Avalanche, this is a little uncharted territory here for them.
Right off the bat, they haven't had a goal allowed. This is the first time all season a first period goal against. And now you're playing from behind, which they have not done that very often either.
I was going to say, the one thing, though, is Varlamov has not given up more than 1 goal in his first 4 starts this season, so that's it.
Yeah, they're done scoring. We know that. So
Stars with the puck, turnaround shot, and the stick was on the ice by Varlamov, able to stop that, and the Stars still buzzing around the Avalanche net. Centering try picked off, and the Avalanche have got it. Carried out towards center ice by Mitchell. Crisscrosses, he comes in, he shoots, and that one was tipped wide of the net. Centered out in front, into the crease, still loose, at least for a moment. Then Dan Ellis was able to find the puck, cover, and we've got a face-off coming up in the Dallas zone.
It's always interesting who a coach puts on the ice right after a goal. You see for Patrick Waugh, he comes out with the big one. This is Bordelot, Mitchell, and McLeod know what they're doing in and around the corners and in front of the net. They're going to bang bodies. They're going to make life miserable. So you're starting to re-energize. Because, Mike, if there's one thing the Avalanche know, when we're skating, we're in the game. If we're not skating, that's when we get in trouble.
That is Sean Horkoff tossed out of the face-off circle. Look at this. I mean, this is phenomenal. This is the latest. For 300 minutes with the lead, and see how little the Avalanche have been behind this season. So this is a young team, and this is still a learning process. Now, how do you deal with this? If you're a young team, you fall behind early against the Dallas Stars here in this first period. Horkoff, former Edmonton Oiler, shifts the puck towards the far corner for Antoine Roussel. He gets pinned against the boards by Corey Sarch of the Avalanche, and Benoit takes off the center. They cross the red line, he'll dump the puck in. Scooped around the backboards by Goligoski. Benjamin for Dallas, comes to Horkoff between the circles in his own zone. A little pressure from Duchesne. In fact, Duchesne tipped that puck, that pass attempt. And then it's returned back in by the Avalanche to the Dallas zone. Ellis will play it off the boards, cut off by Down. He's got Duchesne in front. There's the pass, but they don't connect. Hayda winds and shoots. The save made by Ellis. Loose puck, bounce to the far circle. Avalanche pick it up. Johnson hands it off to Hayda. The puck behind the net. Johnson and Hayda is a defensive pair, and this morning, Patrick Watt, his press conference, made sure to mention how well those two have played together as the defensive pair. They've just been great, Johnson and Hayda.
And night after night, they've been going against the other team's top offensive players.
Nice and call on the Avalanche. Bring the face-off back into Colorado zone, and with the Avs trailing Dallas 1-0.
And you know, Michael, you're absolutely right about this game for the Avalanche. I mean, you're looking at Detroit coming in, and you and I were laughing, talking about, I mean, that rivalry with Detroit is not dead. And you were right. Give me the Haynes look. Yeah, give me the Haynes look. Fans are looking forward to it. And this is the thing that Patrick Watt really wanted to work his team and have them understand. You can't look by anybody in this league.
Battle for the puck at the blue line. Avalanche Steve Downey will flip back behind him. Top line out for the Dallas Stars. Avs Jan Hayda shoots the puck into the Star zone. Back to get to it. Robidas swings it around the boards for Brendan Dillon. Dallas leads 1-0 in the goal by Rich Peverly. Varlamov falls on the puck behind the net. The puck comes free. Varlamov got up and then banged it into the corner. And the Avalanche tried to clear, but Sagan kept it in. Peverly has the puck, comes out of the corner with it, centered for Sagan. Tipped away by Landeskog. Roll back, and Dallas outwins the race to get to the puck behind the net, but then taken back by Wilson. Trying to get up the ice, hands off to Landeskog. The give goes to Wilson. He shoots it ahead, over the line for Stastny, dumps it in wide of the Dallas net. Tanguay after the puck, he gets held up, and it's bumped around the boards, held at the point by Benoit. His shot goes high. Tanguay has it for the Avalanche, trying to go back to the point. The stick got in the way of that pass, and the Stars have possession. Cut into center ice by Dallas as Lane McDermott dumped it into the Avalanche zone. Hammered around the boards at the center. Goligoski has the puck. Flips it back for Gonchar, and he'll shoot it in. He'll drop in the far corner with 12 minutes left, first period. Dallas up 1-0. Putting some pressure on the Avs in the Colorado zone.
Well, Dallas has been very quick. Good passing start to this game for Dallas.
Bouncer out to center. Gonchar turns back into his own zone. Pass up ice. Carried down the near wing. Eric Cole has the puck for Dallas. Legs back towards the point. Shot through some traffic, and that deflects wide. Back up the boards. Kept in by Cole for Dallas. Into the corner with the puck. Stars have got it. Horkoff spins, backhands it behind the Colorado net. Benoit on it for the Avalanche. He finds Parenteau. His pass to center. Taken back by Dallas. Horkoff slips it down the boards in front of the Avs bench. It's Colorado in the middle of a change. Dallas does as well. And Varlamov will feed the puck towards the corner. Rifle pass out to center. Did it go off him again? Apparently it did not, so it's ruled an icing on the Avalanche. Well, let's take a look at who is in the groove, presented by Groove Subaru.
Peter? No, for the NHL second week, the three stars were the young rookie sensation Hurdle from San Jose, Get a 4-goal game in there. And then the combination of Varlamov and Shagir, brilliant. And next Monday, you see Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby, like, continues to just be. You watch him every night. There are things every night that he does that you're glad you watch.
I got a chance to watch him during the preseason in person. He's the best player in the game. I don't know how there can be an argument. He's not the best player in hockey.
It was a couple of years ago when they won the Stanley Cup. They came into this building and they were in the middle of a coaching situation. They were going to change Therian and bring Balsma. But Crosby and Malkin put on a show that night. The Avalanche won the game, but I was sitting down between the benches and I was just absolutely in awe of what those guys can do on a game-in, game-out basis.
Ryan Wilson with the puck after the face-off for the Avalanche. Slapped up the boards. McGinn shoots the cross. And that one deflects off at Tanguay and goes out of play. We'll take a break. Back in a moment. Rich Peverley with his first goal of the season on a breakaway. 1-0 Dallas.
Welcome back to the Pepsi Center. 1-0 Dallas in the fourth. Of course, it is Hockey Fights Cancer Night here. And right before the game, a really cool event. Two brothers, Kylan and Aiden Schmidt, they skate for Denver University program, were selected by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to participate as the Avalanche youth skaters. They were introduced on the blue line with the Avalanche team, given personalized jerseys, a very special event for those two 5- and 7-year-olds. A very special night here, guys.
Thank you very much, Julie. What a night for those two.
Mike, before tonight's game, they also had a survivors game, adult hockey game. All the guys on the ice were cancer survivors. There must have been 30 guys. They were talking to them before, and they were just so pumped up that big screen TV. Are we going to be on that? You know, it was the Dog Nation Hockey Foundation. They had a great time.
Dallas leads the game 1-0. Tyler Seguin had an assist on that goal. He dumps the puck towards Varlamov to steer that one away. The Avalanche march out in the center. Quick pass for Stastny. And it's carried in. On the drop for Landeskog. He shoots. That one glanced off the arm of goaltender Dan Ellis. Dallas with the puck. Trying to get it up the ice. And it comes out towards center. Ryan Garbutt carried the puck into the Avalanche zone. His pass comes across into the corner. Ben had it for a moment. Landeskog got it back, put it behind the net. Another win to the puck by the Dallas Stars to the point. Shot across by Jordy Ben. And dumped around the boards. Cut off momentarily by Landeskog. Zip to the corner. Landeskog on it. He gets pinned against the corner boards. The puck hop free. Zip back to the point. It's held in at the blue line by Dallas. You know, Dallas is winning, not every, but they're winning some of those races to the puck in the Avalanche zone.
Absolutely. This is a hungry hockey club right here. You know, we talk about the Avalanche playing these guys, you know, 5 times. Well, they're playing the Avalanche 5 times. This is the first time that they've been in the same division together after a lot of years in that Pacific Division.
McLeod's pass picked up by Mitchell. Carries it in. He winds. He shoots. It was going wide, but gloved by Ellis with 9 minutes left in the first period. Dallas 1, Colorado 0.
Michael, I had an opportunity to meet some of the guys for Dog Nation, and here it is. Dog Nation is an organization committed to serving the local hockey community. How about this one, Michael? We identify individuals and families in need and strive to provide relief through difficult times. That's the whole mission of this group. And you know, they had that survivor sort of sense of humor. I said, it's great to be playing here. Great to be playing anywhere. it was just a lot of fun to meet the guys. And gals. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the organization. I've seen them around the rinks, and yeah, they do wonderful, just wonderful people. Dan Ellis has to make another save. It's one of another face-off in the Colorado zone.
For Steve Downey, he is just into the hockey season after such a disappointing, you know, game and a half or game and a period last year. He is like, what a part he has played for the Avalanche inside this start.
Wilson steps up into a shot, had it deflect, and the Stars come to center. Sent ahead by Cody Eakin of Dallas. They're after it in the corner, bumped by Nate Gannon, and Downey for the Avalanche. Had the puck for a moment, lost it to Eakin. Downey fights back with that puck, taken by Dallas. Slid across. Gonchar trying to one-time it, and it went off his stick. And Shane for the Avalanche makes a quick snap pass ahead for Downey. Comes in on that off wing. His shot comes wide and chopped at by O'Reilly. Turned over, shot, score! Matt Duchene gave up the puck. And Duchesne made them pay to tie it up with his 4th goal of the season, and we're tied at 1. Well, you make a mistake, and Duchesne pounced on it.
Oh boy, did he ever. This is 3 goals in 3 games now for Duchesne. But there's a watch O'Reilly on the far side. He snaps that puck across. Nobody was expecting that. You saw Dallas in front of the net. They almost looked confused as that puck came through. O'Reilly, I mean, that is a terrific play. You sit out front, you see them standing, 3 of them right there. They just cough it up to Duchesne, and he makes no mistake. And this line again. Like, this line has scored huge goals for the Avalanche. Each one of them on this line, Downey, O'Reilly, Duchesne, all have a game-winning goal so far this season.
Let's take a look at the Pepsi scoring summary. 4th goal for Duchesne. He's on a tear right now. Coming at 11:43, unassisted after the Stars gave away the puck. And Duchesne took advantage. And the Avalanche have knotted it up at 1 here in the first period. Back in his own zone, Dillon with the puck for Dallas. Head back to the circle. Robitaille's pass goes up the ice. Chopped away. Parenteau for the Avs trying to clear, but Vern Fiddler of Dallas sent it back into his own zone. Sent up the ice, deflects in, and Parenteau makes a good defensive play. Get between him and the Dallas player and get the puck. Chipped up the boards, flagged down by Fiddler of the Stars. Chopped away from him, but held at the point by Benn. He walks in, he shoots, had it blocked. It's taken by Colorado. Skids out to center by McKinnon. Picking up speed as he comes to the line. Got poke check. Called up by McGinn. He'll shoot the puck into the Dallas zone.
I know they're on him, but, you know, to make sure they're short. But Nathan McKinnon's doing a nice job of keeping his shift short so he's not at the end of a shift and the puck's in the defensive zone. The point leaders amongst the Avalanche, and you know, you've got Nathan McKinnon, Matt Duchesne, Jamie McGinn, who I think has had a terrific start to this season. P.A. Parenteau, Alex Tanguay. Make those guys on different lines, all the way across the board for the Avalanche. And that's what, again, other clubs keep talking about. Boy, I'll tell you, what do they call it? So-called third line of Jamie McGinn, Nathan McKinnon, and P.A. Parenteau. I mean, that's pretty talented.
Gonchar pinch in from the point. Sends the puck into the corner. A collision there, but the Stars come up with the puck. Trying to come out of the corner of Horkoff, but he's being worked against that corner boards by Mitchell. He won that one-on-one battle. Trying to get the puck up the ice. Stars, though, keep it in at the point. Gonchar shoots to the corner for Horkoff. His pass broken up. Lifted up and out of the zone by the Avs. Pass through the middle, deflected by Horkoff. He's got it, makes the pass across for Cole, trying to charge to the front of the net. Whacked away and sent out to center by the Avalanche. Jamie Benn sends it back into the Dallas zone. Robitaille finds Dillon. His outlet pass rolled off his stick. The Stars able to get to the puck, dumped in. Sagan after the puck. Wilson spins. Puck knocked down by Peverley. Sagan after it. Gannon smashed the puck back around the boards, hustling across. Robitaille able to hold the puck in for Dallas. And the boards it goes for Sagan to the corner for Peverley. Coming out of the corner with the puck, back to the point. That shot goes wide of the net. Bouncing around to the corner. Wilson trying to clear and got it out of the zone, but Dallas is on it in the neutral zone. 5:20 remaining, first period. Goals from Rich Peverley. And also Matt Duchesne. We've got a 1-1 hockey game. One in down the wing, and a hit on Eakin by Wilson. They had him set up, but Eakin, boy, I give him some credit. He was down on the ice after taking that hit and still made a backhand pass across.
He just saw Wilson. He didn't take the full blow.
Aired by Duchesne into the Dallas zone. He's got the goal for the Avalanche here in this first period, trying to muscle his way. There's going to be a penalty on Daly. Duchesne draws the penalty. Daly's getting called for holding on to Matt Duchesne. For Duchesne here in this first period, he scored a goal, and now he's drawn a penalty. And the Avalanche, with this hard work from Matt Duchesne, will have their second power play when we return. Time for Did You Know? Presented by Stevenson Automotive. Here's the question tonight. Whose foot was in the crease for the Dallas Stars Cup-winning goal in 1999? Was it C1 Mike Modano, C2 Joe Nieuwendyk, or C3 Brett Hull? Text your answer 53548 to win some Avalanche tickets.
Of course, that foot had a skate on it.
You're right, he wasn't barefoot.
Wasn't barefoot. But at that time, it was illegal to be in the crease. And there had been a lot of calls in the playoffs that had gone, had taken goals away.
But it was an overtime.
Yes.
So there was celebration was going on, and everybody's happening. That would have been tough to pull that one back. And Buffalo, just don't bring that when we go to Buffalo on Friday and Saturday. Don't bring that up to any of their fans.
Don't bring it up to Lindy Ruff. He was the coach of Buffalo.
Johnson, one-timer, and he missed on the short side. That was a good shot. Into the corner. McKinnon back around the boards. Johnson holds it in. Side of the net for Parento. The side. Flip free. This is a power play chance for the Avalanche. When we went to the television timeout, penalty was being called on the Dallas Stars. Trevor Daley for holding Matt Duchene. Second power play chance of the game for the Avalanche. We're 0 for 1. Johnson's pass down low for Parento, but that's skimmed away from him. And it's thrown down the ice by Fiddler.
No success for the Avalanche on a couple power play opportunities, but they moved the puck well. And you can see they're drawing Dallas back towards the front of the net.
Benoit will carry the puck to the neutral zone. Cross ice, return to Benoit, and he's over the blue line. After banging with a backhand around, Goligoski shoots it around the boards, and it bounced away from Tanguay. Goes back across. Benoit shoots it around the glass. Balls to the far side. Cut off along the wing by Duchene. Going to hold that puck. He's surrounded by 3 Dallas Stars players. And the Dallas Stars are able to get to the puck. Shot by Roussel into the Avalanche zone. That just leaves a few seconds remaining in the Daley penalty. Avs still looking for a shot on goal during this 2-minute power play. And 2 shots during their first power play opportunity. Long pass out at center. It's another breakaway. Daley saved by Varlamov. Backhanded up the boards. That's the second breakaway on Varlamov in this game. That time he stopped the defenseman coming in on that breakaway. He tried to make a move on it. That's tough to do.
Yeah, and Daley, he's not used to being in those situations, but that was a heads-up play by Dallas to see him coming out of the box.
Got deflects to the corner. This game tied up at 1. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first period. And Dillon after the puck. Bordeleau had him lined up for the hit. Got him. Back up the boards, deflected across the neutral zone. Scooped up by Sagan. Pass comes to the near circle. We didn't get to see Tyler Sagan much with the Boston Bruins. In fact, it's been 3 years since the Avalanche had been in Boston. Pass in front, shot by Chiasson. He makes the save. Boy, that's Sagan. He can skate.
Holy cow! I couldn't agree with you more. We just haven't seen him to know what kind of player he was. Here's the breakaway, though. Varlamov. He always looks so relaxed. He always looks in control. Now, Peverly did score on the breakaway, and it was a great shot. But just watching, he always seems to be the one that's in control. He never makes the first move. It always seems to be the shooter that makes the first move. And that's that classic thing for a goaltender. If you're a shooter, you want that goaltender to drop a glove, give you something, and then you take it. Make him move first.
Well, you can see what Peverly, when you watch that replay, he was trying to cut across and then go 5-hole, try to open up pads, and was not able to do it. And Varlamov just outstanding on those breakaway situations. With the puck, Cody Eakin for Dallas. Eakin being hounded, goes back to the point for Daley. On to the far side, Ray Whitney, number 13 for the Dallas Stars, just ageless, just continues to play terrific. He goes over 40 years of age, just still outstanding player. Approaching the last minute of the first period, each team with a goal. Peverly for the Stars started the scoring, and then Matt Duchene answered with an unassisted goal later during the first period. Jordy Benn's pass comes to Daley, and he makes a headman pass out to center for Horkoff, has to hold things up, and his pass slips free. The Avalanche have it then stolen away, but it was offside Dallas. Luxury has an address. Cody Lexus invites you to see the full line of Lexus all-weather Drive sedans and luxury utility vehicles for 2014. They're available at Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village. Now open at Bellevue and I-25 and at Cooney Lexus in Colorado Springs.
Like, big call here. They're saying that intentional offside by Dallas. Faceoff comes all the way in the Avalanche, in Dallas' zone.
You're going to see a change in the faceoff. It'll be Eric Cole will take it against Nathan MacKinnon. And on the faceoff, Dallas wins the draw. Dillon chipped it up off the glass. Did not get it by Gennon, holding at the point. Down the slot, shot missed wide by Parenteau. Backhand try by MacKinnon got deflected. Horkoff for the Stars, being held up by Wilson. Shoots the puck to the side of the net. Nellis out to play it. Spins it around the boards. Kept in. Parenteau stick handling. Down low. Pass to MacKinnon. And the puck was deflected. Back to the corner. Parenteau again with the puck. Centered for MacKinnon. Shot by Hayda. Score! With only 7 seconds left to go in the period. The Avalanche have a 2-1 lead.
Mike, I cannot tell you what an impact on this shift MacKinnon had with his speed. He was just all over. And I love the way that Parenteau reads him, watches for him, finds him at just the right moment. The puck goes back to Hayda. You see Dallas crashing down low. Look at Hayda. There's 5 guys down low. Hayda walks in and gives the Avalanche a huge goal in this game. But great shift by that line.
And we get an icing call. Face off back in the Dallas zone with just under 2 seconds left to go. It is Jan Hayda as we look at our Pepsi scoring summary, getting credit for the goal. And MacKinnon, another assist. Parenteau also. But Parenteau was good on that shift too. He was getting to the puck, making plays. But the story to me, there's MacKinnon. That's now 6th assist. His 6th assist. And then his 7th point. There's been a change in the scoring, Peter. They're going to give credit to MacKinnon on the tip. Nonetheless, still gets the point, as well as his 2nd goal as an NHL player. And the Avalanche, with goals from Duchene and MacKinnon, lead 2-1.
Say those names again, Mike. How many times
we're going to be saying them a lot, aren't we?
Or we're together in the same game? Yeah, we're going to be saying them a lot. Duchene, MacKinnon score for the Avalanche in that first period.
What a game for the Avalanche in this first period. Down 1-0. They come storming back, and they lead it 2-1. You're watching the Avs on altitude. Don't go anywhere. Next is the Toyota Intermission Report. Avalanche came from behind, and they lead at 2-1 over the Dallas Stars after 1 period of play. Avalanche entered this game 5-0. And off to a good start here in this first period. Let's talk about the goals for the Avalanche and their response after they gave up that first one, falling behind in a rare first period goal this season.
Yeah, the very first period goal against the Avalanche. And like, that's what the coaching staff management is looking at. It's not what's happened. It's how do you respond to what has happened. After the Avalanche, they started to use their speed. The Avalanche were not brisk early. They were sloppy. There were some turnovers at one point. They had 9 turnovers early. But then Duchene scores, Hayda scores, and the Avalanche started to use their speed. They started to force Dallas into making some mistakes in their own zone, and that's what the Avalanche want to do, Mike. They want to keep pressing the pace. The Avalanche want as fast a game as you can play. Jan Hayda, in the Avalanche last year, 5 times when a defenseman scored a goal, Mike, for the Avalanche. It wasn't many, but it was 5 times. They're 5-0. This year, Sarge scored a goal, Mike. He was the one defenseman to score goals so far. The Avalanche won that game in Toronto 2-0. It's such a big goal that you get one from the defenseman for the Avalanche.
A guy like Hayda, Peter, 474th game. That's only his 19th goal. He's never had a 2-goal performance, so he doesn't score very often, but what a big one for the Avalanche. They're near the end of the first period of play. And for Duchene, making now 3 consecutive games with a goal. He's done it 3 times. He did 3 times last year. He scored 3 consecutive games. He really had a terrific season last year. Personally, even though the team Didn't have a great season. Matt Duchene Kane is starting to come into form, and we're seeing it early in this year.
Yeah, but he was not quite a point-a-game guy, and I think Duchene has the ability to be an 85, 90-point guy.
From the point, Jan Hayden. Down low, pass into the middle, broken up by the Stars. And the outlet pass comes to center ice. Bounced ahead, back into the Avalanche zone. Backhanded around by Johnson. The far face-off circle. Long pass at center for Tanguay. Got poke check. Take it, turns, whips the pass across. Drop pass by Ben. Goligoski, the defenseman, with a pass across the middle. Tanguay broken up for the Avalanche. Lifted to center ice. Nice play by Stastny to gather it in. Looking for a trailer. Johnson tipped back into the corner by Sagan. Centered from Landeskog before he could pull the trigger on the shot. Maybe Ben coming out into center ice, and he gets tripped by Johnson. That'll be a penalty on the Avalanche defenseman. Well, 2-on-1 was happening. Johnson trying to come back to help in that situation, but gets called for the penalty.
Well, Johnson was that player that rightfully so jumped up into the play, and then there's a quick breakout by the Dallas Stars.
2 minutes tripping.
And Johnson might just tried to get Ben, but one thing about Ben, two things. One, he's fast. For a big man, he's fast, and two, he's a big man. So trying to reach out and pull that puck from his stick cost Johnson that penalty.
Stars this season 3 for 13 on the power play. You see Eric Johnson in the box. First minor penalty call in this game against the Avalanche. For the Avalanche, they're the only team in the NHL that has not given up a power play goal this season. They are perfect, 12 for 12, killing penalties.
Mike, what plagued them in the preseason has been excellent. Their discipline has been great so far this season. No more than 3 penalties to kill in any one game.
Pass through the middle. And that goes back in front of the Avalanche net, where it is stopped by Varlamov. He'll hold that for a face-off in the Avalanche zone as the Stars are on the power play.
And Mike, I think they're important. But to me, the most important single thing for the Avalanche is 5-on-5 play. You look at the top 10 teams in the league. There are 27 games over 500, the best 5-on-5 teams. You look at the other ones, Mike, not even close. The best penalty killing teams are only +6. The Avalanche get themselves into the top 10 the whole season. 5-on-5, Mike, that will give them a chance to make the playoffs.
Shot by Cole, blocked. Cole gets his own rebound. And the Stars are the man advantage. Avs lead this game 2-1. Goligoski just inside the line. Sends it across. Threaded back to Goligoski. Shoots. Blocked in front. Comes over towards Peverley. He's got the Dallas goal in this game. Saucers a pass across. Goligoski to the far face-off circle. Cross ice pass for Peverley. Bounced on him and is knocked down by O'Reilly. He's got a man with him. McGinn gets the pass. He's in. He shoots. And the blocker save made by Ellis. Oh, big save from Ellis.
But what a backhand, little aerial pass by O'Reilly. Michael, that is beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
Jamie Benn with McLeod right on him. He's out from behind the net, then stumbled and lost the puck. Benn recovers. The red line, passed over the line, onside. Time for Gonchar. The pass across for Jamie Benn. Fans on a shot. Threw it out in front. It dribbled around. Shot by Sagan. Big save by Varlamov. Back to the far side wing. Whitney with the puck for the Stars. Dozen seconds left in the Eric Johnson penalty. And off of Whitney and slapped down by the Avalanche. As Benoit got it deep into the Dallas zone. That'll use up the rest of the time on that penalty.
Both goalies come up with huge saves during that power play.
Into the corner. Fiddler lost the puck. Tanguay to center. Pushed it across. Into the middle circle for Stastny. Back off from Tanguay to the corner for Landeskog. One hand to behind the net. Tanguay fights out in front. Got blocked. And Robidaw takes the puck for Dallas. Out the pass. Fiddler. Kinnan has it lined up for a good hit. Avalanche get the puck back. Landeskog passed up the middle for Tanguay. Broken up by the Stars. Landeskog hit along the boards, and the puck floats out through center. Tanguay couldn't get to it. Slammed in the Avalanche zone by the Stars. Who get to it first. The save, the rebound, another save, and then that one one bounced off his stance. Varlamov, in essence, had to make yet another save. Avalanche on the move the other way. The drop at the line. Landeskog's shot was off a skate, and Tanguay had his stick broken. You could see the body language holding his arms up. Why isn't that a call? As he was saying to the referee. Ball could not power his way to the front of the net. Horkoff behind the cage for Roussel. Centered. Back towards Roussel off his skate. And it's banked out by Wilson. And the puck will on its edge and then slide towards the goaltender. So no icing on the play. Long pass off the boards to the red line. Stand on. McKinnon took away the puck. He looks to pass across for Parenteau. Trying to send a backhand where it's broken up. Stars come to center. Benn using that speed over the line. Shot by Peverley comes wide of the net. And that puck rattles around the boards and comes back into the Dallas zone. Things are opening up a little bit here in the second period. Both teams using some speed. 14:20 remaining in the second. Dallas carries the puck in. Sagan's got it. But the Dallas Stars are offside.
Wow, what a sequence of action we've had here in the second period. Varlamov, Sagan had the entire net to shoot at for a split second. Here's that back-to-back saves on one Dallas player, then one his own player. But watch, Mike, watch this little aerial. Look at that. Comes down. McGinn. McGinn scored a goal just in that same spot in Washington. And Mike, what a pass. I mean, you talk about touch. You know, the backhand aerial that he made it look so effortless. That is
not as easy as it looks.
That is a really hard pass.
Corey Sarch gets the pass to Duchesne through the middle for O'Reilly. Flips it towards the corner. Backhanded around, cut off by Duchesne. He gets tied up, and the Stars try to pass out of the zone. To bounce back for Downey. Tripped up in the corner, held it at the point momentarily. Then the puck slides by Sarch, raced back into the Colorado zone for the puck with Whitney right on him. Sarch trying to slow him down along the boards. Has him pinned there. Whitney kicking at it. Still with the puck, Whitney. Lost it to Corey Sarch, and the Avalanche defenseman wheels it around the boards and takes an Avalanche hop, and they're on the move. Duchesne pass across for Downey. Lifted away. Downey chased the puck down. Sends a backhand pass across. Shot by Hayden. Gets blocked by Robidoux. And Benn banks it up and out of the zone. Not deep enough for an icing call.
The Avalanche do not have a goal in this period, but they have been moving that puck real effectively. Good passing, finding the open man.
Mitchell ships the puck ahead. He'll outrace everybody to it. That's just sheer hustle. Mitchell still with the puck. Stops, turns, winds, shoots, and it hit his own man. It was Bordelot in front of the net. Benn to center. Ooh, that was a nifty move to get by Mitchell. Then over the line for Sagan. Dropped it behind the net for Peverley. Center shot by Sagan, and a chest save by Varlamov. Then Peverley tried to chop at Varlamov. The Cloud didn't like that, and then gives him a shove, and then in fact pushes them all the way into the corner boards. Why, we are seeing both teams. If this is the first of 5 games this year, this will be fun to watch, because these two teams can skate, and the Avalanche lead 2-1.
We are back at the Pepsi Center. Second period adds up 2-1 over the Stars. As we've been talking about tonight, hockey fights cancer at the Pepsi Center. This was a cool one. As part of this night, 13-year-old Logan Piz, who plays for the Arvada Hockey Association, was a celebrity puck dropper. He participated this summer in their Make-A-Wish program. His wish was to bring the Stanley Cup to Denver. Not only did he get to hang out with the coveted award, but he was greeted by J.S. Jaguar. So a special summer and a special night for Logan, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Julian. Face off in the Avalanche zone. 2-1 lead for the Avs. Avs have not relinquished the lead this season, and they've got it. The lead came late in the period. The end of the first, up 2-1, and we have had an action-packed and action-filled second period. Both teams have really been skating. Icing called on the Avalanche.
And Mike, just getting back to the story about the young gentleman, Logan Piz, and the idea that J.S. Jaguar showed him around town. He went and saw, visited the home with the family of Jaguar. It shows you why the Avalanche very comfortable with Nathan McKinnon moving in with the Giguère family. I mean, that just speaks volumes of the kind of guy that he is and the kind of family he has.
Wilson, muscle in the corner, centering pass, and Varlamov makes the safe play, holds the puck, and we'll have another face-off in the Avalanche zone.
Fun conversation yesterday with Varlamov and Giguère, and it was funny. They were saying that it was the first time that Varlamov played against his old club, and he really wanted to win.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And Giguère said he just hates playing against any of his old teams. He says you never relax until the win is in the bank and the game is over. And you can relax. But he says he does not enjoy it one bit.
I talked to Varlamov after the game in Washington. I was so nervous. He said, I wanted to win that so badly. And what a great victory. 5-1 win for the Avalanche. They're in Washington against the Capitals on Saturday night. Tanguay's pass. Cross for Hayda. Trying to center. Blocked away by the Stars. 12 minutes left in the second. Clearing attempt by Beverly. Flagged down. Tanguay's got it centered. Shot by Landeskog. Got deflected to the corner. Landeskog peels away. Bounced it back towards the point, but it zipped right by the defenseman. Sarch has to dive. Knock it away, but it's brought in by the Stars. Offside. Colorado State University Global Campus. Finish your bachelor's degree or earn your master's 100% online from CSU Global. You can apply now at csuglobal.edu.
And get your tickets now.
Well, the score is 2-1, Mike, but there have been an awful lot of real good scoring opportunities. They haven't resulted necessarily in shots on goal, but there have been some real good chances. Like there are 3 unbeaten clubs. There will be at least one after tonight because San Jose and St. Louis are playing as we speak. The last score I saw was 2-0 for San Jose. What a start they're having. They're out shooting the opposition like 42-20. Now I understand it's 5-1 for San Jose in St. Louis. I mean, and you know what St. Louis plays like in their building. That is, yeah, that's like the east or the western version, pardon me, of the Boston Bruins. I mean, they come to play in San Jose. I mean, they have turned it on this year. It's everything. They're scoring goals. They're playing great defensively.
We saw this last year, though, Peter. They got off to an incredible start last year. And they keep it going.
Yeah.
And they do it. And their window run out, some of those guys. Well, they're playing great, though. That's the team. Got a delayed penalty coming up. Chance in front, and that's batted wide. Delay call against the Avalanche. Ellis has made his way to the bench for an extra skater. Dallas with an extra man on the ice. Whitney coming down the middle. He shoots. Still with it. Chance by Sagan, but it was touched by the Avalanche. And so we've got a whistle, and the Stars will have a power play opportunity. And we are seeing Nathan McKinnon headed to the penalty box. Oh, the last game against the Washington Capitals. Peter, we saw McKinnon get his first NHL goal. This is his second penalty called against him this season.
But you know, it's interesting to watch it. But when did the first one come? It came first game, and a little altercation with Lovejoy, the gentleman that ended up sort of taking the late sort of, you know, knee hit on McKinnon, but he has proved he doesn't mind the rough stuff.
Sagan winds and shoots, tipped by McLeod, and that puck sailed out of play.
Tyler Sagan, who played his 3 years with Boston Bruins, and we mentioned won a Stanley Cup his rookie season on the left wing. Played a lot with Bergeron of the Boston Bruins, Mike, but he's been moved to center, and they're sticking with him at center. They're going to let him really, you know, Mike, establish himself. That's what Dallas is really hoping. He's just still a young guy.
On the draw, the puck shot down the ice by the Avalanche. 13 for 13 penalty kills this season. And the only NHL team not to give up a power play goal. Gonchar's pass deflects. Into the Colorado zone, Mitchell turns and shoots to the center, but right into the chest of Gonchar. And the veteran Dallas defenseman makes the pass for Jamie Benn. He hands it back to Gonchar. 1:20 left in the McKinnon penalty. center. Mitchell makes a steal, turns, and whips that puck back into the Dallas end. Handoff. Goes to Gunshar. Gains the line. Held at the point by Goligoski. Spins back around the boards. And that was Ray Whitney who made that pass. Then Chazon shoots the puck wide. Whitney on it for Dallas. Ray Whitney inching his way into the circle. His pass deflects back to the corner. Whitney right on it again. Benoit took it away for the Avs. Shoots the puck to center, and that is Goligoski who does have the puck.
And for the Avalanche, the forward rotation. McLeod and Mitchell, and now McGinn and O'Reilly are starting to establish themselves in the second group.
Nice pass of Bice for Whitney. Shoots, kick, save by Varlamov. Going to the far circle, Whitney again. His shot blocked. Goligoski holds it in. Sends it across for Cole. And around the boards, comes to the far side for Whitney. Just 10 seconds left in the McKinnon penalty. Eakin to make a pass, does so for Whitney. By the center, he does. Shot, score! The game is tied on a power play goal. It comes with just 1 second left in the McKinnon penalty. And the first power play goal against the Avalanche this season has tied the game at 1. Actually, it's at 2. It's a 2-2 game here in the second.
Well, just good work by Dallas. They've good puck movement. They found the open guy. The Avalanche, they had the puck for a second. They wheeled and threw it up front. Lots of bodies down low, but just a nice pass, which actually deflected a little bit off the defenseman's stick. So they get, a little bit of a break there. But for Dallas, they've come back in this game after a first period where the Avalanche kind of took control. The Dallas Stars have had a real strong first 10, 11 minutes of this second period.
Peterson first here. First time this season they gave up that first goal. Gave up a goal in the first period. First power play goal against. And first time they've relinquished a lead. Whitney and Cole getting the assists on that goal for Dallas.
But you knew the first 5 games that wasn't going to be exactly what was going to be going on all season. You weren't going to be ahead all the time. I mean, it's just...
There's a chance by McKinnon. And Ellis able to make the save. And then Parenteau draws a push. McGinn jumps in the middle of things as well. A couple of Dallas players around him. Linesmen look like they've got things calmed down. You see, there's Nathan McKinnon. Now with 7 points this season to lead the team. 2-2 hockey game in the second.
Michael, best coaching career start. This is not from the start of the season necessarily, but when they've been made the coach, the starting first 5 games, Mark Crawford with the Quebec Nordiques the last year before they came to Quebec, Beck Quidlin, who was the original coach of the old Colorado Rockies, and Mario Tremblay. That's the record that Patrick Roy is chasing, and you talked about the irony of that earlier tonight, as of course it was Mario Tremblay that was coaching the Montreal Canadiens when Patrick Roy had his evening.
Down low, chance by Hayden. Gets blocked. Stars counter the other way. Shot and the save made by Varlamov. I gave you that list of first so far. You can also add first time Varlamov has given up a couple of goals in a game as well. 2-2 hockey game. Jimmy Benn trying to power his way out in front. Bounced up and out. Handled by Dillon. Heat up at the red line. Swatted in around the boards. Johnson comes up with a puck for the Avs. Quick pass to center ice from O'Reilly to Downey. Shot in. And first to the puck, O'Reilly, but then overskated. Downey chopped at it. Kept in at the point. Shot by Gennon, comes wide of the net. Eakin up the boards. And then Chazon slams the puck down the ice to race. Into the corner, O'Reilly for the Avalanche. Lost it. Centered in front for Eakin. Turns back behind the net for the puck. Chased down. Played back to the point. Goligoski's shot deflected high off the glass. And it finds the netting above that glass. And it is out of play.
Well, Michael, you showed this in the pregame show. For those who weren't watching, here is the night. And the storylines on this just continue. Because if Patrick Roy and the Avalanche win tonight and go 6-0, who is that club that he can break the record by having his club beat, Mike? The Detroit Red Wings, who were the club that threw up the 10 goals that night at Patrick Roy. I mean, it just, You can't write this stuff.
You're struck by, when you see that video again, Peter, the fact that there's no glass behind the bench and he could say something to the president of the Montreal Canadiens.
Like, really say something. They stand there and have a good long chat. I mean, man's sitting right there.
Landeskog high in the slot with the puck. Poke checked away. And the lead pass for Cole. Down low, shot, great save, another block. Wow, what a sequence. There's Dallas testing Varlamov. He did not wilt. Center ice, Tanguay with a puck over the line. Stastny, long pass for Johnson. Backhand drive. That's deflected away. Johnson on it for the Avalanche. Threw it out into the high slot. McGinn makes a pass across. One-timer. Blocked by Goligoski. McKinnon for the Avalanche. Flicks the puck to the corner for Tanguay. Back to McKinnon. Center. Shot. Oh, it looked like a shorter goal. Deflected away. Quick pass out towards center. Blocked by Parenteau. Wow, what a second period this has been. Very entertaining here in the second period. Bouncing puck. Parenteau for the Avalanche. Center. Shot up high by McGinn. And that puck comes around. Held at the point. Avalanche hold it in. Into the slot. Where he had to really move in the puck. Hayden. Far side Parenteau. Back to the point for Johnson. He shoots wide of the net. Bouncing around. McGinn on it. Tapped it around the board. Johnson's got the puck. Going to be a penalty on the Dallas Stars. Coming up. Varlamov on his way to the bench. Avalanche wait. They get an extra man on. Going to play is Duchesne. He's got the puck, or had it. Slipped away. He gets bounced. Carried the puck out to center ice. Duchesne, who's that extra skater out for the Avalanche when Varlamov came to the bench. Avalanche make another change. Carried in by Duchesne. Going wide. He shoots. He's caught. On a delayed penalty, his 200th NHL point, by the way, and he puts the Avs ahead by a score of 3-2. There is your highlight of the night.
I mean, just wow. How cool was that whole sequence? I mean, the McKinnon line could not have had a better shift. But what I loved about this was the calm that P.A. Parenteau had on it, where he took that puck after it came out of the blue line. He forced Dallas to not be able to change, but bought a little time for his group to set up an attack. And then he hit Duchesne with a perfect pass. Duchesne had speed, Mike, when he got that pass, and those defensemen for Dallas were exhausted. They had been running around, they were tired, and Duchesne, Mike, who was coming off the bench, as you mentioned, he just flat blew by the Dallas defenseman.
His 15th multi-goal game, and again, 200th NHL point. Parenteau and Johnson get the assists. And the Avalanche get the lead back 3-2. Matt Duchesne and the Avs celebrate. They've got the advantage in the second.
Very exciting second period, but Matt Duchesne put the sort of that mark on it with this play, this goal. You see him just skating through that neutral zone. He has used the whole blue line as entranceways this season. He has really expanded how he comes into the zone. Just a continuation of how he played last year. But you know, Mike, you go back to a little move that was made by Patrick Waugh about 6-7 days into camp, where he took P.A. Parenteau and he moved him onto the line with McKinnon and Downey onto the line with Duchesne. That was the only thing that he changed all the way through training camp. Everybody else stayed right in their lines, and it really seems to have worked. Because now McKinnon doesn't have to carry the puck all the time when he had McGinn and Downey. Now he got Parenteau there to also carry it, and now Downey's on that line to give that tough, hard-working player down low with Duchesne and O'Reilly.
As lead this one 3-2. Egan for the Stars. Here in the second period, the Avalanche led 2-1. Then the Dallas Stars scored the first power play goal of the season against the Avalanche. And by the way, that was the first power play goal in Colorado by Dallas. You have to go back to 2009. Last time they scored a power play goal in this building. That made it 2-2, but then with Varlamov on the bench for an extra skater delay penalty being called against the Dallas Stars. Matthew Shane gets his 200th NHL point, his second goal of the night, and the Avalanche lead 3-2. Dillon handles things back behind the Dallas cage. 4:35 to go in the second period. Pass to center ice. Heavily powered his way through. That got blocked. Ben sends the puck back into his own zone for Robidoux. Sent up ice, and the puck will turn on its edge and go all the way down. Johnson back to retrieve for the Avalanche. Moves it up the boards. Puck stays inside the zone. The shot off of, I believe, Aaron Johnson. Puck goes wide. Avalanche get possession back. Pass through the middle, picked off. Beverly takes it back for the Dallas Stars. Cross ice pass for Ben. Down low, looking for a tip from Seguin. Puck went wide. Goligoski holds it in for Dallas. Around the board, Seguin knocks down the puck. Tip back around the wall and out to center. Goligoski's pass finds Eric Cole. In the end zone, his shot deflected, and Cole gave a little hop to Hayda. Hayda tried to clear the zone. Meanwhile, there's something happening in front of the Avalanche net that gets dislodged, and that draws the whistle. Hey, let's look at what's on tap for the Avalanche, brought to you by Coors Light. Thursday, here we go. The Avalanche hosting their arch rival, the Detroit Red Wings. You don't want to miss this one. We'll start our coverage at 6:30 here on Altitude. And Peter, you've been talking to Avalanche fans. This rivalry is still alive, and people looking forward to this game, especially the Avalanche hold on to win this game. Then you're looking at really a special night on Thursday.
Must have had 20 people say, let's get the Avalanche win tonight. We play Detroit, be 6-0. I mean, it is still that club. Now, they are in the East, and we talked about it earlier. Maybe we're just reiterating on the same point, but it is the only time this year Detroit will be here unless they happen to meet in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Shot save, and then the puck just skipped over Horkoff, but we got a penalty. And this should go against the Avalanche. And so for the Dallas Stars, Nathan MacKinnon with his second penalty in this game is in the box for hooking.
Well, MacKinnon is saying all I did was lift his stick. Now the referee's saying that he hooked. MacKinnon said no, all I did was lift the stick. Now watch 29 for the Avalanche. The puck comes through. Now you see, once you get it into the midsection, the referee's standing right there. So you've got it up above the ice, and you've got it in the midsection. It's a pretty easy call for the referee to make.
Stars win the face-off. They scored a power play goal earlier. They're 1 for 2 in this game. Seguin winds up for the one-timer. That got blocked by Hayda of the Avalanche. Ben, you can see how strong he is. Holding that puck in at the line. Tipped on goal. Saved by Varlamov. What a move. Jason with the puck. Drifted back around behind the Avalanche net. Reversed up the far side. Jason threw it out in front. Comes to Mitchell Diaz, and he clears the zone. Whitney ships a pass across and into the Av zone. 1:10 remaining. The penalty on MacKinnon. Seguin trying to hold the puck in. Comes around, held in by Jamie Benn. Down low with the pass. Centering try for Seguin by Whitney. Got deflected back to the corner. McGinn turns and chips the puck to center. But was knocked down with a high stick. That'll bring the face-off into the Dallas zone.
Well, this will be a disappointing period if it ends up this way for the Dallas Stars. They've outshot the Avalanche right now 16-5. And, you know, for Lindy Ruff's team, you know, you're here in Colorado, the Avalanche have given you some opportunities, but boy, Varlamov again. Talk about those big saves at the right time. The score, you know, they could have scored that third one and tied. If they haven't, the Avalanche still have that lead as we get to the later part of the second period.
Mitchell gets tossed out of the circle, so it'll be McLeod to take the face-off. This penalty kill situation for the Avalanche. 45 seconds remaining in the power play for Dallas. Ends up 3-2. Shane with a pair of goals. sandwiching the goal by Jan Heda. Wrist shot going high, gloved by Varlamov.
We talked about it last game, and again, it's worth watching. Watch the catching glove of Varlamov. It is higher, certainly this year, than it was, and he snaps it up before every face-off. He really prepares himself quickly. Now you watch him. He's going to snap it up. You can see him behind. Oh, I apologize, but he'll snap it up, Mike, and gets himself absolutely key to the shot.
One-timer, and that was partially blocked by Gennon. Dallas retains possession. Ready to pass back to the point. But a little something happening away from the puck, right in front of the net. Horkoff is getting called for slashing. That was happening away from the puck, right in front of Varlamov.
Someone's on the ice. Penalties. Dallas number 10, slashing. Colorado goaltender, slashing.
So the power play will continue. Horkoff comes through. He's upset. He's skating through. Wasn't really a slash. That was more. But Horkoff comes over from the Edmonton Oilers. The captain of the Edmonton Oilers was a real key pickup for these Dallas Stars. Good veteran leader for the young club in Dallas.
So each team gets a minor penalty. And we keep going here with the Dallas power play. 15 seconds left in it. Now there's a broken stick. And it's an Avalanche player, O'Reilly, without a stick. Gonchar shot deflected to the corner. Sagan picks up his pass, goes back through. Look at O'Reilly, can't put his stick in the lane. There's a chance, and it went high. Bouncer into the corner. Out of the box comes McKinnon. So the power play is done. Cross ice, and that shot bouncing wide of the net. Avs are able to get to it. Tanguay, and then allow O'Reilly to go to the bench. Pass up ice and bounced in. Peter brings up that age-old question. You're on the ice trying to kill penalty. They're passing right back and forth through O'Reilly. Couldn't do anything about it.
I have never seen a player though, Mike, especially in the second period, with the gumption, if that's what you want to call it, to go to the bench.
And you'd have to go across the red line for O'Reilly.
Blue line, red line, and get your stick and come back. That's what, 7, 8, 10 seconds? You know, it's got to be in your mind, because there were 3 passes at least that went right through where he would have had his stick. Now, you know Dallas knows that. They're using the fact that he doesn't have a stick, but it is a helpless feeling.
Well, the Avs killed the penalty. Dallas 1 for 3 tonight on the power play. Daly can't keep the puck inside the blue line. We're down the last 40 seconds of the second period. Very entertaining period here tonight. Running down the wing. Offside, Dallas.
Well, it's been an entertaining period because there's been lots of good saves, certainly, but the majority of them have been by Varlamov. And for the Avalanche, like, they've had some that one shift where they end up scoring the goal with a delayed penalty. Well, that was a great shift, but that's been the best shift that the Avalanche have had this period.
Dillon after the draw, won by Dallas, sends it across. Stefan Robidas drills it deep into the Avs zone. Starts in a collision behind the net. Puck comes free for the Avs, then hop back towards the point, kept in by Dallas, and that one was really moving on Varlamov. He had to be alert to make the save, and he did.
I hope we have a good angle of Varlamov on this, as far as the ability to read the play. And Mike, I mean, he was going directly to his right. He followed the track at the whole side, and all of a sudden, the last minute, it's going left. And you just have to flash out that pad and stay with the puck.
Down to the last dozen seconds of the period. Robidas smacks the puck. Avalanche get it back. O'Reilly plays it into his own zone. The Avs are content to run out the clock in the second period. And with a Matt Duchene highlight goal at 14-18, the Avalanche, after Eakin had scored to give the Dallas Stars the tying goal. Boy, what a goal by Duchene to give the Avs the lead to go to the third with.
Well, now the Avalanche again with the lead. For Patrick Waugh, he's going to walk in and say, gentlemen, that wasn't the kind of third period that we want to play in the third period. Too many shots, too many opportunities for Dallas, but the Avalanche, as they, Mike, have shown us all season, have been able to score those big goals at the right time.
They certainly did during the second period, and it's 3-2 Avalanche after 2. Next is the Subaru Intermission Report. Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by your local Ford stores. Ford, go further. Pepsi, live for now. Dodge, visit Dodge.com or visit your local dealer today. Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. And by Short Line Subaru, save money, drive better. Avalanche have got the lead to go to the third period. They're up by 1. 3-2 is our score. Introducing your Ram Truck Avalanche Ice Girls. Ram Trucks, engineered to move heaven and earth. Ramtrucks.com.
Well, Michael
Varlamov, was he spectacular when he needed to be there, Peter, in the second period?
And, he's been around now. This is his 5th full year in the NHL. The first 2 with the Washington Capitals. His 3rd year with the Avalanche. He's 25 years old now. He has a new goaltender coach this season, François Laird, and he's got great confidence in the guy that's behind him, J.S. Giguère, as far as talking and sort of articulating the position of goal. And I think everything is just sort of rounding itself together, and what you can't have a much better start. There's 18 shots on goal by Dallas in that second period, and the Avalanche had the lead going into the third.
The last 2 games for the Avalanche coming into tonight, they give up a total of 80 shots in the last 2 games. Won both games. That is not a pattern any coach would like to see continue.
Yeah, they're on a pace right now for 36. And that is that one sort of fly in the ointment for the Avalanche. They've been allowing a lot of shots on goal.
Eakin has the goal, gives the puck to his on shot, and that one bounced just over the stick of the waiting Ray Whitney, coming in alone on Varlamov. Dalen going to push his way through into the Colorado zone. We're just starting our third period. Denver, Colorado, the Avalanche lead this game 3-2. A couple of goals from Matt Duchene. Jan Hayda has also scored in this contest for the Avalanche. Rick Peverly and also Cody Eakin scoring for the Dallas Stars. Eakin's coming on a power play. Shot by Landeskog, saved by Ellis. Landeskog comes up with a puck, whips the pass back towards Hayda, shoots it to the corner. Rattled back behind the net. Gonchar's got it. Moves the puck up the boards. Handoff goes to Seguin. He sprints into the Avalanche zone. He shoots. Steered away by Varlamov. Centered in front and actually hit a skate and then went on net. And Varlamov alert made the save. Handoff goes to Landeskog. He bursts his way in. He shoots. And the save by Ellis. Both goaltenders making good saves early in this third period. Tanguay makes the pass for Landeskog. Returned it back to the corner for Stastny. Fed back to the point. Johnson shot. And Ellis makes the save and no rebound.
Good start to this period for the Avalanche. That's the kind of shift that you want to start a period with. You saw Hayda, who's had a terrific game. His partner Johnson's +3 coming into this period. But that's the kind of period shift that you want. Like down low, get some pressure, build some momentum so you're having those good consecutive shifts. Not one every 3 or 4, but consecutive solid shifts.
26 shots for the Stars. 18 of those came in the second period. And 18 total shots in the game for the Avalanche. Cole cutting down the middle. He shoots, and that one hit the left pad of Varlamov. Cole has the puck again. Cuts in. He shoots through traffic. And that deflects over the glass and out of play.
Nate Gennett, a guy that we have just not talked about nearly enough for the Avalanche. He's second on the team as far as defenseman minutes killing penalties. He had a game last game against Washington, Mike. He had 4 hits, 7 block shots. The Avalanche had 90. It's just shift after shift. And you talk to the Avalanche coaching staff, he has not played a bad game. Not even close to a bad game for the Avalanche. And he was a guy picked up as a free agent in the offseason. Not in the, in the media guide. He's in the back as far as players in the system. And he is just all training camp long. He just kept impressing and impressing. And you can't sandblast him out of the lineup right now.
You saw that up close look at him. A couple of black eyes going right now too.
That's what shot blockers look like.
Meanwhile, Ryan Wilson showing his toughness, works the puck free. Avalanche able to scoop the puck out to center, but Robidoux got it back with the Stars and shoots it in. That one got away. Backhanded by Wilson, up and out of the zone. Pass off the boards. Back in the Colorado end. Wilson picks up. Harrington skates through the middle, finds Benoit. The Avalanche defenseman shoots it in, loved and held by goaltender Dan Ellis.
Well, we talk about newcomers for the Avalanche. Corey Sarge comes into tonight's game, Mike. Tied for second as far as plus minus. The first 5 games he was plus in every game. He's even tonight. And 7 of the top 9 are from the San Jose Sharks, so they win 5-1 tonight. So goodness only knows how they're going to. They just continue to dominate. And it gets back to your question: can San Jose keep that up? Because it has been an incredible start. Now there's just 2, the Avalanche and San Jose, as far as having perfect seasons to this point.
Pass deflects in by Varlamov, out behind the net to play it. Roped it around the boards. O'Reilly comes up with the puck. Skates to the neutral zone. Long pass. Got away from Duchesne. Angles in towards Ellis. And he'll make the safe play there.
As well as the Avalanche have played. And, San Jose has just been a titch better across the board. The Avalanche plus 15 through the first 5 and now 2 periods. San Jose's plus 21. They're just steamrolling teams this season. I mean, St. Louis was ready. Hitchcock had that club saying, hey, let's see how we're playing against a really good club. And obviously San Jose, unless it was just all goaltender, I mean, they had a terrific game.
Jamie Benn with the puck. Send it out towards center ice. Goes down into the Colorado zone. That one is shipped around. We're just looking. Avalanche not going to see San Jose until December 23rd. Good. We'll cool off by then.
Exactly.
At center ice. Look shot in. That was just a quick look. That's the I saw that's when the Avs will be in San Jose. Just glancing real quick at the schedule. Avs up 3-2 in this one. 16 minutes and a little change to go in our 3rd period. Pass at center ice, cut off by Goligoski. Tipped in. Down the wing, Fiddler has the puck for the Stars. Takes the pass behind the net. Garbutt put back around. That's tipped by McLeod to center. Gunshard played it back. Stars are coming off a 5-1 loss their last game on Saturday in Minnesota. The record of 2-2. 1-1 on the road. Goligoski's pass taken by Horkoff. His shot deflected away by Varlamov. McDermott behind the net. Intended for Horkoff. Threw it out in front. To the far side. Dashing back behind the net. Daly reversing, trying to get away from Bordelot. Comes out in front. Backhand saved by Varlamov. And Bordelot has the puck. Shoots it off the boards and got the puck out of the zone. And the Avs can make a line change. Cole through the middle circle with the puck. Turning back into the Dallas zone.
Dallas again started to, have more control of the puck.
Cole trying to put a move to get around Parado. Didn't work. Then McGinn shoots and shut it off of the goaltender Ellis. Puck rattles around to the far side. Sarge shot towards the net. Ellis made sure that one did not go in. Again, and Parenteau behind the Dallas net. Parenteau with the puck. Slings it back. Slid across to Benoit from Sarge. Got behind the net. Parenteau. Pass. Shot blocked. Picked up by Parenteau. Bottom of the circle. Centers for McKinnon. The one-timer goes wide. Back around the boards for Benoit. Shoots below the circle of McGinn. Into the slot for McGinnon. Boy, they are really moving the puck. Start shot, and that one went off of Ellis. And comes wide. What a shift by the Avalanche in McKinnon's line. McKinnon going to push his way in front. Charges McGinn, but the puck is covered in the crease by Ellis. That was a terrific shift by the McKinnon line. Didn't pay any dividends. The Avs still lead 3-2. Let's answer the question of Did You Know, presented by Stevenson Automotive, Colorado's home team. Whose foot or skate was in the crease for the Dallas Stars Cup-winning goal in 1999?
Here it is, and it's number 22 at that time. The Dallas Stars, like one of my favorite people in the game of hockey. Red Hull. He has a special way of seeing life. He has a special way of seeing the game. But right there, that man could score. As pure a goal scorer as there was in his generation. And man, that was not a fun night for folks in Buffalo.
Well, we're going to be in Buffalo. Game this coming weekend. As Ben moves in, there's going to be a penalty on the Avalanche. Ellis on his way to the bench. Avalanche touched the puck, so Dallas will get. This is the fourth consecutive situation in which the Dallas Stars have been on the power play. Avs had the first 2 power play chances in the game, but now it's 4 in a row for Dallas. And Johnson's second penalty of the game.
You know, it's one of those ones, again, the stick gets in the midsection. Referee makes a call, but that's Jamie Benn. And Mike, not just big and strong, but he's got great moves. I mean, he can really.
Chance, and Varlamov came rushing out of the net to cut down that angle on Whitney's opportunity. Gunshot makes the shot. Puts it back to Whitney. Draws for Ben. His shot deflected, and the puck goes out of play. Boy, did Varlamov come out in a hurry.
He attacks. There's no question. And when you're confident, you're attacking the puck. He is well beyond the blue there. I mean, you're confident with what you're doing, but 2, you're confident that your teammates were taking away that pass. That was all Whitney was going to be able to do, was shoot that puck.
Behind the net, reaching for it, Hayden. With the puck and kick. Ran the far away. Laid back towards the point. Gunshot. Pass to Whitney in the slot, missed. Back out to center.
But what a nice play by Cody McLeod. He collapsed down and took the man's stick as that pass was coming right into the slot.
Unsharp carry the puck through center. Behind him for Sagan. Swings it over the line for Ben. Whitney tapped it. Chase on. Right on him is Benoit. Pushes it down low. Shot. Wow! Another big save by Varlamov. Back to the point. Gonchar. Sent it across for Whitney. He turns and shoots. It got through. In the circle. Shot by Sagan. The save made again by Varlamov. Mitchell's clear, didn't get past the blue line, but then a bump by McGinn sends the puck to center. 33 seconds remaining in the Eric Johnson penalty. That's up by a goal. Stars on the power play. Onside, Horkoff for the puck. Back to the point. Whitney sends it across for Goligoski. Back to Whitney. He turns, he shoots, save, rebounded there, and is punched to the corner. Back up the boards, Goligoski in the slot for Eakin. Stripped to the puck, and O'Reilly shoots it out. Avalanche 4 shots on, the Dallas Stars 4 shots on the Avalanche during that power play. Goligoski carrying it all the way in, could not get a shot. The Avs kill the penalty. Dallas 1 for 4 in this game, but it was Varlamov with a couple of big time saves. the side of the net, then played to the far wing. Oligoski has the puck. Tanguay took it back for the Avalanche. Able to maneuver the puck to center ice for Wilson. He cuts in, he winds, he shoots, and shot it high. And the puck to center ice, just off the bench. Corey Sarch makes the pass to Wilson. Rammed around the boards by Jordy Ben. Avalanche managed to keep the puck inside the zone. 11 minutes to go in the third period. Avs up by a goal. Dallas with the puck. Steal at center ice by Colorado. Landeskog has got it. Gets in, backhander, glove save made by Ellis.
Well, wow. Again, it's just been some great action. Whitney gets the one, and then again, it's when you're looking at the puck in front of Varlamov, like you don't see anything behind him. That one, I mean, that's just reading the opportunity. The puck is sliding across. He comes out. He's right on top of it, and he actually kicked the leg. The guy's 10 feet away. He was almost waiting for that. Yeah, he's just like, okay, go ahead.
Try. Just try. Been impressive. Now we're set for the draw. Shane pulled it back, but Jimmy Ben cut through the face-off circle and got to the puck. And Downey makes a steal on a Dallas pass. This pass is returned up the far wing. The Stars come to center ice. Peverly, Sagan, and Ben. They've been dangerous all night. Downey puts the puck ahead for Duchesne. He has been dangerous almost every shift. He is pulled away from the puck by Sagan. Play continues on. The puck up to the corner. Wilson pitches in for the point. Pays the price for that on that hit by Romanov. Beverly's pass comes across the rink. Lobbed in by Sagan. No icing on the play. Across the halfway point of the third period. Pass to center. Deflected across over the line. McKinnon. Gets shoved off the puck and then takes a cross check to the back by Chason. McGinn paid him back. They're going at it. McGinn and Chason. Meanwhile, the puck brought in by McKinnon, and well, he just slipped a check. That was a nifty little move by McKinnon because he was lined up. Received a big hit. Oligoski out of the corner.
Shane's got a couple of goals, but as far as line pressure, this line, McKinnon's line, is really good, terrific.
Wow, what a move. Eakin cuts in, and what a play by Parenteau. Center, shot, goes wide of the net. Parenteau, great effort defensively to come back. Behind the net, Cole for Dallas. Worked back to the point. Shot, glove save by Varlamov. Parenteau with the pass through the middle for McGinn. He'll bump it in from the red line. Ben bounced off of Landeskog that makes a rink-wide pass for Horcoff. Back in front, tipped on net, and another nice save by Varlamov. He had that pad down. Tanguay hustling with Landeskog. The pass, Landeskog shot, deflected away by Romanov. And the puck goes out of play. P.A. Parenteau. Great hustle. Keeps it a 3-2 lead for the Avs. For our Timberland hard hits highlights. We've had many of them here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's these two clubs we talked about. This is the first of 5 meetings. There'll be one more game against Dallas in Colorado, 3 in Texas. And this is one of those clubs, Mike, if the Avalanche are going to make the playoffs, they have to finish ahead of Dallas. There are certain teams the Avalanche know that they have to finish ahead of if they want to be that one of those clubs in the playoffs. And Dallas knows they have to finish ahead of the Avalanche if they want to make a run at the playoffs.
First 3 teams in each division to get locked in, and then the next couple of wild cards are in. .8:20 left in the third period. Really has been one of the more entertaining, fun games that we've seen. This is game 6 of the season for the Avalanche. And I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed watching this game here tonight.
There's been the big saves, obviously, by Varlamov, but there's been a couple of just dynamic goals. One, Peverley's goal was a great breakaway. Duchesne's goals have been nice, but there's been up and down all night.
He's back in, and look at the speed of Duchesne. He gets the puck.
Save.
And here's that hybrid icing, and here's where you can hear the crowd believing that Duchesne won that battle and got to the puck first.
This is where I believe that the league has got to look at this, Mike, because the idea is now it's a judgment call. And there was, from where we are, there was no question that he was going to beat the man to the puck. But what he's saying is he was ahead of him, but he has the right to make the judgment call. Duchesne is closing. Duchesne is closing. And again, that's just, I think they're putting the linesman in a terrible spot because, man, that's so close.
Again, the thinking is they want to avoid injuries on the situation, and any kind of big collision there in the corner. Hayden has the puck. Shot. Deflects. Down. The puck comes out to center. Dallas with it. Eakin coming wide. Has to spin. Turns the puck behind the net. Meanwhile, Hayden had taken down Ray Whitney. The Avalanche get possession back. Landeskog behind the net. Moves it up the boards. Benoit will get to it for the Avalanche. We've got 7 minutes to go in the third period. Club to center ice. Himself has the puck for the Dallas Stars. Long pass. Deflected off of Tanguay. Avalanche get possession back. Pass over to Sarge. Wilson to Landeskog. Back to the neutral zone. Horikoff leads Roussel in over the line. Makes the pass across. Shot wide of the net. Hands are on it. Sastin flips the puck to center. And that's offside. If you're looking for a great car, check out the all-new Kias. You can visit ColoradoKiaDealers.com. Discover Kia's full lineup of high-quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles.
This is an area right here. The last 7 minutes of games with the Avalanche have really been good. Against Anaheim, it was a blowout, but that they were solid there. Against Nashville, they held on, did a good job, empty net goal, won 3-1. Toronto, same situation. So closing games out, the Avalanche have been good.
Boston game could have been closer until the end. Shot down the ice. McGinn going after Robidas. Rubs him away from the puck. Stars, quick pass out to center ice. Another thing we've seen from both these teams, neither team is shy about making that long pass trying to string someone.
Well, because they're speed. And when you've got speed, you want to use it, and you want to make those long passes. They're a little dangerous sometimes, but it frees up speed.
Jason came into this game on a 4-game point streak and held off the score sheet for the Dallas Stars. Wilson over to get him back to Wilson. Pass up the boards. Downey gives to it O'Reilly. Behind the net for Duchesne. Comes out. Flipped a little pass for O'Reilly. He shoots. And that hit the chest of Ellis, the Dallas goaltender. Goligoski makes the pass. He slips the puck up ice for Jason, and he'll lift it over everybody back into the Avalanche zone. That allows both teams to make a line change. 5 minutes to go in the third. Pass over to Wilson. Flagged down by Roussel. Dropped in the corner. Bumps around the board. Stastny's got it for the Avalanche. Flipped it off the glass. Got it out. Landeskog after the puck. And coming back, Jordy Ben ensured him to commit a penalty. Keeping the puck away from O'Reilly. Cold pass. Right on the stick of Daly. Carries the puck to center. Stastny slowed him up. Slapped in. But the play is offside on Dallas. Avalanche and Dallas have put on a good show in this game. And it's still 3-2 Colorado.
Heading down the aisles.
In the first period, for the first time this season, Avalanche give up that first period goal on a breakaway. Rich Peverly set up by Sagan, but the Avalanche responded. Duchesne, great looking goal, and then Hayda with just seconds left in the first period had it go off a skate and in, and it was 2-1 Avs. And then it happened for the first time, a power play goal, Dallas. Then on a delayed penalty, Duchesne, who was the player who came onto the ice as the extra attacker, scores the goal, his second of the game, and the Avalanche have a 3-2 lead. Nobody has scored here in the third period. There's just 4 minutes left to go in the third. Shot by Peverly, saved by Varlamov, flicked the puck towards the far boards, but the Stars come up with it. Sagan dropped in the corner. Peverly, Hayda on him. Hayda able to free up the puck, shipped around the boards to the near side. Gonchar pinched in, couldn't hold the puck. Avalanche managed to get it out. Go back to that Hayda play in the corner where it looked like Dallas had something going, and Hayda just stopped that momentum and got the puck out.
That's that combination of Hayda and Johnson has played so well for the Avs this season.
First one to it, Eakin. Another Dallas player with good speed. Chase on, Hanneman out of the corner, trying to step out in front. One straight, and the puck cleared to center ice. Eakin first on it for the Stars. Sends it across. 3:10 left to go in the third. Some urgency now to the Dallas Stars. Chipped in. This could be icing. It is. Icing is the call on the Dallas Stars.
Now you look at the Avalanche. In his first starts, he got a lot of shots actually in the Anaheim game. At 40 in Washington, now 36 tonight to go with 39 the Boston Bruins had in the game before Washington.
Duchesne's line out for the draw against Jason. Picked up and carried in down the wing. Eakin centers. Again, trying to tie up his man, Whitney. Back to the point, shot by Daly. Off the left pad of goaltender Semyon Varlamov. Downey cutting in. He gets hit, but somehow manages a backhander towards the front of the net. Centered in front. Stars, though, peel away with the puck. Led by Horkoff. Shoots it in. Again, and took it away. Backhanded up off the boards. Tipped in by the Dallas Stars, but then Downey's got it for the Avalanche. His pass cut off by Gonchar. Then O'Reilly makes a steal. O'Reilly breaks in. He's got a chance. Pull is closing. O'Reilly gets a backhander off that goes wide. There's a chance. Oh! I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe it. That looked like a goal. And then Ellis reached up from on the ice with the glove to make the save.
Michael, this would hopefully this gets lost in the shuffle of the game tonight, but this may be one of the best saves we're going to see all year. Downey had a wide open net. There were bodies everywhere. Look, he's completely down and he reaches up and oh my goodness, what a just a tremendous save. This gets back to what you were saying, Mike, about there's been a little bit of everything if you enjoy hockey.
Yeah, it's been great tonight. Landeskog has time. He shoots it right into the logo on the sweater of Ellis, and the whistle's been blown. Boy, Landeskog had plenty of time to try and pick a spot. Look at the shield of Stastny pushed down a little bit. Got to fix that. There you go.
Well, this is where the Avalanche want to spend the last 2 minutes of this hockey game. Minute 57 seconds to go. Keep it down low. Don't allow Dallas to get any sort of offensive momentum. Dan Ellis, of course, in net tonight, letting in on injured reserve, so he'll probably be playing a few games now for the Dallas Stars. Jack Campbell, the backup. Well, the first-round pick for these Dallas Stars, they think he's got a huge future.
He's a big guy. I was watching him warm up this morning.
They're all
big
big.
goaltender.
They're all big.
At center ice. Shut in by the Stars. McDermott. Puck circles the boards. Look at the race now. Parenteau hustling. But coming back, Daly able to push him away from the puck. Faison, first crossing out at center ice. With the puck is Dylan. Signals back. Drops the puck in the corner. Time to start watching to see what Coach Lindy Ruff decides he wants to do. In fact, he's making that signal right now on his way to the bench. He'll get there with 1:15 left. Ellis on the bench, empty net to shoot at for the Avalanche. Dylan has to chase the puck at center. Goes to Ben. Now to Sagan. Extra skater on for Dallas. They pull the goaltender. Shot off the shoulder of Varlamov. Then Johnson drills a big hit along the boards on Eakin, but Eakin peels away. The shot on the one-timer by Ben goes wide. We're the final minute. Pass comes out to center. Daly teed up and shoots the puck in around the boards. 40 to go. And the Avs have an empty net to shoot at. Dallas, Sagan works the puck up the boards. Tip. Daly, though, keeps it in play for Dallas. And Hayda turns and shoots it down the ice. We're going to get an icing call, though. Oh, they waved it off. They waved it off. How about that? They had their arm up. They were going to call that icing. They waved it off.
They waved that one off, and the Dallas player actually touched the puck first. Had it been played the normal way, it would have been an icing.
Pass at the line. Flip. Steal by Stastny. Turns and shoots it. That'll be an icing call, though. And it's touched at 1.8 seconds left. We'll check to see how much time is left. You can see some Dallas players are pointing towards the scoreboard. We'll see if they adjust the time left in this game. And if it'll be enough time to win a face-off and get one last shot by Dallas.
1.8, Mike, it's got to be really pure for that to happen. Usually you have to just try to bank it right towards the net. Now, if it gets over to 2.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds past 3.
Is that about the cutoff point, Peter?
I think 2.5, and then you can pull it back and get that one-timer. But Semyon Varlamov again for the Colorado Avalanche. We talked about it at the top of the show. The goaltending for Colorado has been spot on fabulous. I mean, in the lone game, and the rotation, as we mentioned, has been set up for the next couple of games. Varley will get the next start against the Detroit Red Wings when they come to town. And then when the Avalanche go to Buffalo, that's when Jiggy will get his next start. Well, but Matt Duchene, a couple of they were great shots. Two just absolutely picture-perfect shots by Duchene. This was at the end of the most exciting sequence of the hockey game. There was a great shift by the Colorado Avalanche. There was a situation where there was a delayed penalty. Dallas was exhausted. Duchene was that player that came on the ice to be that extra attacker. And boy, was he a great extra attacker as he just blew by the Dallas defenseman.
Well, there's been no change in the amount of time left.
So now you almost automatically have to go with a right-hand shot going towards the net.
Are you saying on the face-off, or you?
Yeah, the face-off for the Dallas Stars. Well, they're going to go with Ben and try and pull it back. They think there's enough time if he catches it pure to go back to Sagan. Oh, it's 2.3, Michael.
Oh, they just changed it. Okay.
So now that gives you hope if you're Dallas. Because now, even if there's a little bit of a battle, if you get it back quickly enough, you've got that one shot.
So it's Sagan who's poised that Ben can win the draw. Stastny will try to deny him, and Stastny dead in front. Oh, that was close. Varlamov had to make a save right at the buzzer. I mean, it looked like Stastny had the draw one, but Dallas hustled and got a chance right at the buzzer, Peter. Let's look at this again.
Mike, I think that might have counted, Mike. I think he had right down to the bitter end. And even if it wasn't counted, he still made the save. I mean, that's the impressive part. I mean,
well, Varlamov, 5th straight win, ties the longest streak in his career. Going to go back to March 3rd through the 20th of 2012. Matt Duchene gets another game-winning goal. And Peter, 6 wins. That might have been the most entertaining game we've seen so far this season. That was fun to watch.
You watch the score was 3-2. You think, oh, what did you see? You saw everything. I mean, it was just fun. And that may be, Mike, the key to the Avalanche. They are having fun. That was a hard-working game. They needed some great goaltending. But the fun continues for the Avalanche because it is fun to win, and they've won 6 in a row.
And Patrick Waugh now is tied to Mario Tremblay for the record for starting your coaching career with wins. Wow, what a start for the Avalanche. Now 6-0 this season. All right, let's listen in. Here's the announcement of the Coors Molson 3 stars of the game.
Papa John's tomorrow. Enter promo code ABS3 at papajohns.com. Time now for tonight's 3 stars of the game as selected by Peter McNabb of Altitude Television. Tonight's 3rd star from Dallas, number 91, Tyler Seguin. Tonight's 2nd star from the Avalanche, scoring 2 goals and picking up his 200th career point in the NHL, Matt Duchene. Tonight's 1st star from the Avalanche with another win and another 39 saves, number 1, Semyon Varlamov. And our number 1 star standing by with Julie Brahman.
Varley, another great performance. Tell me about your night tonight.
I think we played well today. We scored 3 goals. So that was enough to win, you know. Another big game for us, you know, but we don't need to stop right now. I mean, we need to keep going.
Matt Duchene had 2 goals. How important was his performance to the win?
Well, I think that should play unbelievable for us right now. He's in a great shape. He's a great player, you know. He's every game he's compete, and thank God he's played for us, you know.
They're just chanting your name, Varley, Varley. How much does this mean that the home crowd loves you so much?
I love it. I love it. Thanks everybody for coming. Thank you. That was a big win today. Thanks.
Thanks, Varley. All right, guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Julie. They do love him indeed here in Denver. As the Avalanche get a couple of goals from Duchene, 1 from Hayda, and a great goaltending today. They win it 3-2. All right, get ready for Detroit on Thursday. Let's